Parfait, donc désirez-vous que j'effectue la leçon de pensée en anglais ou en français?
Anglais.
Anglais? Sorry, my English is very bad. So each team has 20 minutes to present its case to the judges. The time of presentation will be divided like the first 5 minutes of the presentation are considered as being protected, meaning that the judges cannot interrupt the team. The next 10 minutes are not protected. The beginning of this period will be when the light turns on. Just behind you. When the non-protected period will end, I will turn off the light. The judges are allowed to interrupt the presentation in order to ask questions of clarification on the topic being currently presented. Each judge will have to use no longer than 15 seconds to ask his question. The team has to answer the question, but can then continue its presentation without waiting for the consent or understanding of the judge. The judges cannot ask questions on the topic already covered or which has not been presented yet. These questions must be approached during the period of questions at the end of the presentation. The last 5 minutes of the presentation are meant to conclude the presentation and are shielded from questions of the judges. I will show boards with the remaining time when there will be 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds left, and I will make the countdown of the last 10 seconds on mine. A team that didn't finish their presentation after 20 minutes will be stopped to move to the period of questions. A period of questions of a maximum duration of 5 minutes is assigned to the jury at the end of the presentation. I would like to remind the jury that it's mandatory to ask at least one question during this period. I will invite the judges to introduce themselves and then the team can begin.
Excuse me, is the presentation time 24 minutes?
Yeah, actually it is. So it's 12 minutes. My notes were bad.
That's no problem.
12 minutes, 7 minutes, 2 minutes, and 30 seconds for the boards. Okay.
Fantastic. My name is Alex Normido. I am the provincial director for a local insurance company here in town, and I was a 2-time participant in Jude's Commence actually. Fantastic. Yep.
Hi, my name is Juliana Marcotte. I'm a senior consultant for a consultancy firm in Montreal. Nice to meet you.
Julien Robichaud, entrepreneurship consultant here in town, and 3-time participant as well, so have fun.
So I want you to think back to a very tragic moment in your life. That one time you lost something so caring to yourself. Now let's take a step back and just recall what that tragic moment was. Let's think back to the time you dropped your phone. The most tragic event ever. Your heart stopped for a couple of seconds, you pick it up, and then you see this shattered screen. Then you think, well, I wish I had some protection. Of course, where would you get that protection from? Of course, the famous Case Depot. Good evening, Board of Directors, or good morning, sorry. My name is Tarek Mansour, my colleagues Chelsea and Emily, and we're here from Power Consulting, and we're here to talk to you about a fantastic case that we have today. So for the mandate, the first thing that we're going to go through is to offer a strategic growth plan for the upcoming 5 years in order to increase the brand awareness and the market share for the company. The 3 things that we really want you to recall throughout this entire presentation and the things we really want to focus on are customer satisfaction, flexibility, and the reliability that we will introduce throughout this presentation. So for the overview that we've kind of touched on, that we've found in the market as well, so we're the actually only offerings in the store at the moment with Case Depot. The second thing is there's actually minimal competitors. So there's of course only one mentioned in the case, which is great. That gives us a great strategic advantage. And the last thing, there's a 7% growth projection in the industry in the next coming years for cell phone users, which is fantastic. So the solution that we have for you today is we really want to introduce the first thing is online sales, which will drive sales for you guys and also include more customers in a geographical area. The second thing is really the brand awareness, which we will introduce later on and show you how we're going to accomplish that. The third thing is we really want to introduce something called same-day repairs and trade-ins. So what does that mean? That means we want to introduce a carrier system that picks up the phone of the customer at their work in case that they did break it, deliver it to the store, get it fixed within a certain amount of hours, so let's say 4 hours, and bring it back to them that same day, which is fantastic. The second thing, so trade-ins, what does that mean? Since working at Rogers for the last 2 years, I've seen a lot of customers with broken phones. They have nothing to do with them. All they do is just throw them out or upgrade to the next model. Unfortunately, the large telecommunication companies do not take broken phones. By you offering a trade-in program with specifically broken devices, you are able to buy back their phone, fix it, and resell it for a profit. So just a slight description. So again, we want to introduce the online sales. The awareness, again, is the in-store marketing, which we will touch on later. And of course, utilize the carrier service and offer cash or credit for the phones.
So now for the opportunity, our financials today really focus on the two big projects, the online channel as well as the same-day repairs and trade-ins. And so we'll dive into it a bit later, but the return on investment for those two would be 18% and 17% respectively. And so our key actions for over the next 5 years will be representative to implement those two opportunities.
Fantastic, so we're going to dive right into it now. So for the agenda, we're going to go through our power model, which of course we're known for, and we're of course the power team here. So the first thing is the problem. The second thing we're going to go through is the observation of the actual findings that we found. The way forward is how we're going to accomplish that. Our execution, how we're going to do it. And the last thing, of course, most importantly, the result. So for the problem, I've already gone through that. So if you've seen a slight, again, the growth plan for the company in the next 5 years, and how we're going to increase the brand awareness and the market share of the company. So for the KPIs, the things that we're going to be going through is the brand recognition. Of course, we've set a goal for that, which is great. We've set a 20% brand recognition goal. The second one is to increase customer retention by 10%. And the third thing is to have an ROI of 15%.
So now we're going to take an observation of our surroundings. So you've outlined 3 different alternatives for us within the case, and we'd like to go through each one of them and pick out the pros and cons to see which one will work best with your company. So the first one is the online channel, which we've mentioned previously. Some of the pros to that is that it gives accessibility to others that are living other than Moncton. So it gives a greater geographical spread to the people who have access to your products. So that's the accessibility and the variety. A greater amount of products can be sold online. Some of the cons to that is that the customers don't have the ability to physically touch the product before they buy it. So that's a con, and as well the wait time of having it shipped to their houses. And then the next one that you brought up was having a new location. Currently you only have 1 location in Moncton, and you wanted to see if opening a new one would possibly be viable. So some of the pros to this is that it does give you the opportunity to grow geographically as well, but it does require a lot of investment on your end, and also it will require maintenance. So currently you only have 4 employees, so to open up a brand new store would require a lot of new employees to add to that, and will require one of the owners to move over to that store, which would require a lot of shifting of HR. And then the last one that you mentioned was custom printing phone cases. So you mentioned that it would be $7,500 for the initial investment. And one of the pros that it does give you that unique vibe of having a custom feature to your products. But the cons to this, we thought they were too great due to the fact that it's only a niche market. Only a few people would probably be buying these cases, and we don't think that the initial investment would be worth the end result. And as well, it is more expensive. So due to this, we've chosen that the online, out of the 3 that you've given us, would be the best option, but we do also have other strategies coming up further in the presentation. So now the key takeaway to this is that we're going to introduce online buying to your store. Now for our next analytical tool, we've chosen to do a competitor analysis on a positioning map. So you only mentioned 1 competitor, but we've found that through our online research, there are a few more that were present. So we have Cell Phone Guys, Atlantic Repair, and Mira that are also present in your market. And we've found that there is a gap in the upper right-hand corner with customer satisfaction and ease of service. So this is where we want to bring you in the future, and we believe that we can do that by offering you the trade-ins as well as the speedy service, giving the customers the ease of service of just putting an order in online to have you come pick up the phone. It'll make it super easy for consumers and more attractive for them to come to your store. So the key takeaway for this is that we want to focus on bridging that gap in the upper right-hand corner of the ease of service, ultimately increasing customer satisfaction. So now we're going to take a look at the way forward. So the 3 pillars of our strategy focus on the online, as we've mentioned. The second is brand awareness, the marketing of this. And finally, the speedy service and the trade-in, which Tarek mentioned. So first, starting with the online, we want to look at different e-commerce websites that you can use in order to facilitate online buying. So there's a few different ones that you can look at. Shopify and Magento are definitely the big competitors that you'd like to look at to facilitate your e-commerce and buying online. So online, we'd like to make available the accessories, but as well as the refurbished and new phones. This allows the geographical growth without having to expand with a brick and mortar store. So it's a more lean service. So now moving on to the awareness. So how are people really going to know that you're offering these things and how they can get it? So first of all, we've come up with the window decals as well as the wall of repaired screens. So I'm going to go into this a little further. So first of all, you have your one brick and mortar store. And as you can see on the left, it's pretty simple. It just has one banner on it with your logo and your name. But we'd like to put decals on with maybe a picture of a shattered phone or your phone number, something really big so that from far away, consumers can see it and it really draws their attention to your store. And then secondly, we'd also like to add the wall of repaired screens. So every time someone comes in with a broken phone screen and you repair it in store or they ship it to you and you ship it back, you take that screen, slap it on the wall, and at the end of it you have a huge mural of broken screens, and it becomes kind of a local attraction and something that shows how much impact you've had on your community. So it'll become kind of this huge wall of broken screens. And then as well for awareness, moving on to the next one, we'll add the hashtag once broken, now fixed. So that'll really add on to your mural wall. People can take pictures of it. It'll be kind of an aesthetic for your store, and add the hashtag once broken, now fixed. So once you search that up, you can see all of the pictures that come up, and it kind of adds brand awareness and brand recognition to your store. And then also, we'd like to have some testimonials come in, because a lot of, Moncton is a small town, and a lot of the promotion is through word of mouth and referrals. So we noticed that on your Facebook page, you do have a lot of testimonials from customers, and you have very good ratings on the Facebook page, and we just like to keep building onto that. So after a person has come in to get their phone serviced, you ask them to leave a phone number and their name, and reach out to them to ask for another testimonial. You can add that to your website just to build that word of mouth and possible referrals. And then lastly, as I said, increase brand recognition through the word of mouth. So really getting your name out there again, because Moncton is a small town, I feel that is the best way to get the word out there. So now I'm going to pass it on to Tarek to take over with our last bang of a strategy.
So the last one we really want to concentrate on, and I touched base in the first part of the presentation, is the speedy service that we want to offer. So the biggest thing is when you break your phone and you're at work and you're having a lousy day, of course, you just lost the most important thing that you have in your life. So is again the speedy service. So by having the premier option, we're able to charge a premium to customers to be able to pick that phone up from their work, drop it off the store. Of course, having a cutoff time, as you can see, for example, 1 p.m., and having it back to them by 4 p.m. at the end of the day. Not only is this creating an experience for them, but this is a unique selling proposition compared to any of your competitors in the market. Of course, this is also offering flexibility to your customers, so you're not making them wait till 4 p.m. with a broken phone and unable to call you. Of course, if they're at the office, they can pick up the office phone and give you a call if they have any questions. And again, the second thing, since we are moving to online, we are able to upsell at the same time. So being able to actually go on the website and purchase the screen repair with the courier delivery, we're able to upsell with cases and screen protectors. So again, that's leading to more profitability for the company as well. The second thing, so the trading for phones. What is that doing for the company itself? That's again generating more revenue for you guys, as well, since you are concentrating on new phones and refurbished phones as one of your biggest selling points for the company itself. So what we want to concentrate on is offer something called trade-ins, of course, either a cash value or credits. The one thing what we want to make clear is if we do offer cash, it is going to be slightly lower than the credits at the store. Why is that the reason? So the reason is by offering higher store credits, you're actually generating more revenue to your store, because at the end of the day, when they trade in that phone and they have, let's say, 60 credits instead of $40 in cash, with their brand new phone that they just got, they might go purchase a case or even a screen protector. So that's fantastic. We want to offer free quotes available online for unbroken phones. You're probably asking yourself, well, why would you do that? The reason is when it's an unbroken phone, it's still brand new, and there's always going to be a change in the market depending on what version of phone it's going to be. So we're able to give them a quote right on the spot online, bring it into the store, and just drop it off. The second thing, if the phone is damaged, we really want to make sure that one of our qualified technicians, of course they've gone through the 6 to 8 month intensive course that they had to look at the phone and to estimate the value of how much it's actually worth before giving them a quote.
All right, so now we'll move into the execution portion of this presentation, and that includes a timeline over spanning 5 years, first being 0 to 1, then 1 to 4, and 4 years plus. And so in that first stage, we'll be in the charging phase, charging up, ready for the new initiatives to come. In that second phase, we'll create some music and sweep the customers off their feet with all the new initiatives we'll introduce. And finally, in the flash stage, like smile for the camera because you'll want to capture the moment and all the progress you've made over those 5 years. And so if we take a look at that first implementation phase from 0 to 1 year, the way we set it up is that we have the action on one side, the result we expect from that action, and the KPI that action is supposed to drive. And so our first action is to set up the online store. As Chelsea mentioned, there are different service providers that can do this, like Shopify, Magento, even BigCommerce. However, based on our research, we would recommend going with Shopify because they offer a very good plan base, so to keep costs low, but they also provide this partner ecosystem where they've dealt with so many merchants that they have go-to people for certain things. So if you're a merchant and you need a specific theme designed for your store, they have people to recommend. And so just different things like that they can provide the resources to any size companies, as well as and Shopify with their apps as well. There are so many different types of applications that any little modification that you need, there's likely an app for that. And so that, by setting up the online store, which is quick and easy with a service provider like Shopify, it will provide a new channel to enhance sales growth. And by growing sales, of course, the brand recognition starts to increase as well. The next step, or the next action on our list, is to hire an online associate. So that's that full-time representative that will be needed to handle the extra inventory that comes with an online store. And so that, again, is for staffing for new initiatives and contributes to the bottom line by allowing you to set up that online store and be able to run it. Finally, the third action in this implementation phase is to implement the awareness strategy. So that's what Tarek was talking about. And this is actually not too complicated because it just consists of buying those decals, setting up the wall, getting those initiatives going. And that, again, by having those little neat things about the store, will increase brand awareness with the customers. And so now if we move on to that next stage, I'll pass it on to Chelsea to do that.
Great, so I'll take over the next stage, and this is spanning from 1 to 4 years. So this is such a great stage because this is when we're launching all of our great initiatives. First, we want to introduce the trade-ins, which shouldn't be too much of a hassle. It shouldn't take too long, and that's the first one we want to tackle. So that'll increase our market share as we're bringing in the broken phones that no one really wants. That'll increase and come to us. And of course, that'll contribute to our bottom line as we'll be reselling them for a profit. And then we want to look at the speedy service. So in the 1 to 4 years, we're going to set it up as well as launch it. So to set it up, we need to look at different couriers that we can utilize. One that we noticed was Night Flight that are located in Moncton. They have a pretty low service charge, and this will be passed on to the consumer, so there would be no decrease in profit on our end. In order to prepare, this will allow us the resources to initiate this new initiative, and it will contribute towards our ROI in the end. And then finally, when we actually launch it, this is when everything goes into practice, and this will be in the later of the 1 to 4 year period. And of course will allow us to have a new channel to generate new revenues and contribute towards our ROI. So I'll just pass it back to Emily for the last stage.
And so yes, in this final stage, well, this is where like 3-4 years have gone by, and so you'll really want to reevaluate all the data you have collected over those 4 years. In particular, the online data or the online shop will be such a great resource for data because it's very easy to collect and analyze and then drill down. And so by looking at all this data online and in store, you'll then be able to see if there are some things that could be improved, maybe some problems that have arisen, and it's a great opportunity to readjust, improve operations, to move into that 5th year and just have a great finish off that growth over 5 years strong. And so next, we'll look at the results of all of this. So there's a lot of numbers, but we'll break it down a little bit. And so first, we started by doing a sort of income statement, and the revenue is based on the, so 2016 is what we were giving, 2017 is based on that 25%, and to be on the conservative side, we took the 10% growth for the 10 to 15% for the years to come, and then the operating costs were then adjusted based on the different initiatives that we implemented. For example, the salaries, starting in year 1 and then more so in year 2 and on, you have that full-time representative at $36,000, the full-time technician, that'll start at $25,000 during their training and then jump to $50,000 once they're fully trained. And so this is what was used to really build the ROI for the 2 initiatives that we have. So if we move on to the next slide, the first initiative we look at is online. And so here, the online channel is expected to really drive traffic and drive growth. And so the target expectations for growth, our revenue increase based on the revenue in the last slide, is presented in the brackets, so 25% for cell phone accessories and 10% for the new phones. Because of course online will really be targeting those accessory sales. And then the other important cost to keep in mind is Shopify, but once again, it's low. So we were then able to calculate the ROI per year as well as the ROI over 5 years of 18%, which we saw earlier. And so the break-even point in sales for all of this is about $62,000 for each year. So that means that to just break even on the initiative, if you can sell $62,000, you'll be good. The next one is the speedy delivery and trade-in. So again, the sales target are in the brackets, and then the costs, the shipping, something important to note is the shipping, because the cost, there's no incremental cost to that because it would be passed on to the customer. And then the technician is a new cost, as well as the credit. We estimate on average that 15% of the cost of new phones would be going to credit. And so as you can see, the ROI for all of this has been calculated per year, but that ROI over 5 years is 17%. And the break-even point for this strategy would be, again, around $61,000, $62,000 per year. And so as we can see, these have a great return on investment and really worthwhile to launch these new initiatives. I'll pass it back to Tarek to sum up for today.
So again, by introducing this strategy that we've of course talked about previously, we really want to hit those 3 things that we wanted you to remember. So again, the customer satisfaction that you guys are known for in the community, the flexibility that you're going to be offering the customer by offering, of course, a courier service, and the reliability. Of course, all your technicians are so well trained, again, 6 to 8 months, which is fantastic. And again, the key points I really want to leave you with, so we're going to concentrate on 3 main things: the online store, the awareness of the product itself, and the speedy service and the trade-ins that we're going to be offering consumers. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer them.
I can go. Why would a customer buy a case from us on the internet instead of buying it from China at $2?
That's a really good question. So most consumers, since my experience at Rogers, are a little nervous to buy it from China because there's a lot of wait time. The good thing about our company is we're able to deliver that product a lot faster.
Okay. Where would you be able to deliver? Like, would you be available in the US or only in Canada? Or
The focus right now would be Canada, and so there's opportunities to expand on that, but by keeping it within Canada, you keep it more uniform and shipping costs stay lower.
How would you suggest we go about managing our inventory? So what I mean by that is the last thing we want to do is have online sales then as well in our brick and mortar store. We have to be able to manage the inventory. What I mean by that is if we sell a case there in the store and somebody's ordering it simultaneously, the last thing we want is to not have that in stock, be back ordered, so on. One of our main keys obviously is the customer satisfaction. So how would you guys counter that with the online store?
And so that could be done to counter that, like the system would have to be updated in real time. So if someone buys the phone in store, then right away the online stock would be updated. And so with all the technologies these days, surely, especially with a service provider, that can be integrated. Shopify even provides POS hardware, so it does update in real time. And so through that could be mitigated.
Okay, thank you.
Your observation, how did you guys figure out what other service providers were compared to KZbo? Did you guys actually do, how did you guys base yourself on these statistics on what was happening currently and where you guys fit into the whole mix?
So we actually did some online research about customer satisfaction based on reviews, as well as the services that they offer. So a lot of the services are really similar between all of the competitors. So in that upper right-hand corner, we really wanted to take advantage of the ease of service. So that would be the delivery that would really fill that gap.
Okay, so you guys just went online and looked at reviews?
Yeah, we had access to internet, sorry, to make that clear.
How much would it cost for a customer that wants to have his cell phone repair from his work place?
We don't have the particular unit costs, but essentially it would be whatever the repair cost is plus the shipping rate, and that's how I calculated the ROI. But there could even be room to add a premium to that, and so it would become even more beneficial for the company in that case.
It would be.
Sorry, to further answer that, maybe I mean answer that question a little more. Do you mean by courier? Is that what you mean, or?
No, but just for. Good.
Good.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.